Good afternoon. My name is Charles Barron, Assemblyman Charles Barron. I'm here with Councilmember Inez Barron, and she's going to introduce all of our speakers that will be speaking today. It's a broad coalition of people, and we're here to say free tuition, really?
Right.
We have done some research. I've seen the bills on free tuition. How could the governor out of one side of his mouth say free tuition, and then on the other side of his mouth, raise tuition? Make up your mind, Governor. Is there no tuition and it's free? Or you raising tuition? The Excelsior scholarships are for tuition only. For middle-class students this year, making $100,000 their family. Next year, $110,000. And by the third year, $125,000. First of all, if tuition is free and there is no tuition, why do you need scholarships?
Right.
To pay tuition.
Well.
The only time CUNY was free is when it was the Free Academy in 1849, when white men only, like the governor, white men only could come. That's when it was free. There wasn't any tuition. It's a contradiction to say free tuition and then to tell the struggling working class families that every penny that you get from Pell or TAP, you have to use that for your tuition, and if there's anything left from the tuition, then you can apply for Excelsior. Well, TAP and Pell pay for 180,000 students are already getting their tuition paid for out of the 900,000 SUNY CUNY students. The Excelsior scholarships will only be for 32,000 students. So at max, 210,000 students will have their tuition paid for, while 690,000 students have to pay tuition and have to pay the $200 hike each year for 4 years. Governor, really? I mean, who do you think you're fooling?
Right.
He's running for president. He wants to go across the country and say, look, we have free tuition in CUNY. No, you don't. You have tuition, and we have to pay for it. I asked the state, well, since you're giving $124 million this year, $124 million this year for middle-class students to get Excelsior scholarships. What about textbooks? What about fees? What about transportation? What about food? What about room and board? Poor, struggling, working-class students already got their tuition taken care of. It's the non-tuition costs that cost money. It costs about $25,000 a year to go to CUNY and SUNY when you add up everything. Tuition is only 1/4 of that. So families making $125,000 can handle food and transportation. They can even handle the tuition. But so be it. They're getting the tuition. We want textbooks. We want transportation. We want food. We want college fees paid for. And cancel our college debt. Well, half of us reparations anyway.
Yes!
So we came out here today to highlight the hypocrisy, the contradictions. Bernie Sanders, shame on you. You should not be standing on the stage next to the governor with this fraud called free tuition when you know it's not free. You know tuition's not free. Bernie Sanders' national plan was it's tuition free, and every dollar you get from state and federal grants you can start using toward non-tuition costs because there is no tuition. That's a free tuition CUNY.
Right.
That's a free tuition. That's a free tuition CUNY. That's free tuition at CUNY. Make CUNY free for our students now that we populated people of color like you did for the white man when it was called the Free Academy. My wife, Councilmember Inez Barron, she has a resolution that was passed to set up a commission to really explore free tuition. This is how you do it. It's simple. CUNY's budget is $3.2 billion. That's how much it costs in their budget. We have a $153 billion state budget, a $4 trillion national budget, and an $80+ billion city budget. Give us $4 or $5 billion out of that and make tuition free. Make tuition free. That's free tuition for everybody. It should be a tuition-free institution. CUNY shouldn't cost anybody in the richest country the planet Earth has ever known, and in the richest city in the world. If you can pay no tuition for anything in Cuba, talk about Cuba all the time, tuition and healthcare is free. Talk about Venezuela all the time, tuition and healthcare is free. Talk about Zimbabwe all the time, tuition and healthcare is free. So we wanted to come out and expose the governor's hypocrisy. This was nothing but a campaign ploy for him to run for president. And the piece on raise the age, that was also watered down. Shame on you black politicians sitting up there standing with the governor while he signs some fraudulent document. Let me tell you the truth about raise the age. Raise the age. You know what we said originally? 18, 17, and 16 years old, if they're charged with felonies or misdemeanors or violations, all of it should go to family court. All of it.
That's right.
What they did and signed and are happy with is that of the 28,000 adolescents that get arrested yearly, along with the 54,000, by the way, inmates that they have to fill 54 correctional facilities upstate, because these white economies need us in their prisons so that their prison economy is taken care of. We say all of the 18-year-olds, all of the 17-year-olds, all of the 16-year-olds, their offenses should go to family court. What they signed, they said no 18-year-olds until 2018 or 2019. So no 18-year-olds. Thousands of 18-year-olds are going back to criminal court, adult court, going back to adult facilities to learn how to be better criminals. Because that's what happens, recidivism. They then said, we're not going to let the felonies go to family court first. The felonies are still going to the youth court in the criminal court. And then they said automatically the nonviolent felonies will let go to family court. Well, why do we have to wait? Why can't they go straight there?
That's right.
They get left down, sent down only if a DA cannot convince a judge that some of these cases have extraordinary circumstances. What the hell is that? Extraordinary circumstances. That's to the discretion of a judge and a DA. So even what they signed with all the black leaders around him skinning and grinning, even though he signed that, we still can get a whole lot of these felonies that stay in criminal court. And the most egregious part, we said, all right, these are youngsters that might make an impulsive decision, and we don't want them ruined for the rest of their lives. So why don't you seal their records after 1 year? Seal it. They said, no, we'll seal it after 10 years. And this is the governor and the black leaders around him skinning and grinning like they did something great. They said, Charles, you can't get everything you want. Politics is the art of compromise. Well, and tell that to the governor when they did 421A, making the rich richer, a housing program that's going to gentrify our neighborhoods. They got all they wanted in that, then damn it, we should get all what we want and raise the age. They didn't raise the age. And we can't gradually get what we want around raise the age, because that gradualism leads to a ruined life of thousands of our young people. Finally, when you're talking about raise the age, You talk about after the fact. They already committed the crime. So whether they go to family court and juvenile institutions or adult court and adult institutions, you're still sending us to jail.
That's right.
$153 billion budget, then why don't you deal with youth centers, youth leadership, youth jobs? Why don't you deal with the multi-billion-dollar economic development job creation program? More money for CUNY and SUNY to get our children off the streets and into education institutions. You're raising the age just to send them back to the prisons anyway. So now what they're going to do, instead of building adult prisons to build their economies, they'll build youth facilities, youth juvenile facilities to help them with their jobs, their economy. Governor, you're a hypocrite.
That's right.